Hey there, and welcome to Making Walkways and Bridges. These walkways and bridges are primarily being built as alternative entrances to the first story of the central tower building, although I am additionally going to be making them slot together so that they also function as a bridge if I just want to use them in that way, or alternatively using them as walkways or steps up, at least stairwells, which are exterior stairwells big enough for a tag um, to go up onto first story floors. As you can see, all of the pieces are pre-cut for your pleasure, and I shall be showing you the assembly process. This is a two-half jobber where you can see there's a stairwell built here, and this is sort of the stack of components. This is the components laid out. The components laid out, I'll show you how it all slots together. And at the back there's the connecting piece for if you want to use it as a bridge, because you have to cantilever the two surfaces together to stop it all from collapsing from weight resting on just one end. But I'll get to that when I get to that. In the meantime, let's start assemblage. First up then, just a little note about cutting stuff out. This is how these pieces stack together. So this is the densest I could pack. Each of these is like a hand railing, so it's already cut, and the handrail will go up, and each handrail is fitted so that the stairwells will in fact sit on them. I'm just chucking it in place, I can't really see what I'm doing, the camera's in the way. And this is all fitted to go with the bases and everything. So where you have stairwells, the thing is, you see these sort of wastage. The wastage occurs because of you require this overhang, and you require this in order to keep everything even, and the stairwells to actually come out at the right places, and to have even walls travelling up them, and all this kind of a malarkey. So I just wanted to give you a quick glance at that, and utilising mainly these diagonal angles and cramming in. And yes, you end up with wastage, but you can always use this for something later. So each half of the walkway / bridge consists of two rails. These go up and form the handrails, well, walls even. It's your cover. One set of steps, this is all pre-assembled, and I've done these where at the 8mm point, they're 16mm deep steps. At the 8mm point I've marked a line, and I've put in all of the dividers on those lines. And after every 3 I've flipped one, just to give that sort of longer, slightly longer step, because it feels like this is what stairwells kind of do in these kind of places, at least in the UK. And I would have done landings, but I don't want to end up with like a 12-inch long piece of terrain. I only want a sort of 8 to 6-inch long piece of terrain. Then you have the support. Now this will go underneath the stairwell, and you'll notice that this angle is this angle. And what this will also do is create line of sight blocking underneath, so you've not just got the stairwell as the line of sight block, you also have sort of some horizontal line blocking underneath. It gives you a bit more tactical versatility and interest. Then we have the base. This is the base, and everything will be skewed, right? So this will actually probably be like that. If this is the walkway, this will be sort of up above. And so there's an element of cantilevering here, and I may have to add some additional weight in order to make it so that that doesn't fall down. And then we just have these two bits. This is just a bit of detailing really, and one will go either side like this on this, so that the support looks like it actually sticks out a bit, and it gives you a bit of cover here, so that when you're coming around the corner it like makes more sense as a piece of cover. This has also been designed to fit onto this, so that the tips of this should roughly come up to this line, which is 1 inch in, and then all of this will get sprayed one colour, and I will decide what to do about the walkway. I've just been thinking that I might use some sort of tarmac effect, as in cutting down some very fine grade sandpaper with the black facing and just sticking that on the rises of the steps and all the walkways. And then I think it would feel quite like certainly a modern footbridge or what have you. So next up, starting the assemblage. And first of all, I will be assembling these together. Once these are together, I will start fitting them with the rest. The important thing when assembling this is to take into account that these fit flush with the floor, so you have to make sure that you're leaving enough space so that they fit to the floor. Also, these will fit to this line, and I'll have some overhang from this step, so there'll be a little bit of overhang onto this, not a lot though. So I'll get the first bit of assemblage done so that you can see clearly what that is. Catch you in a second. First up then, just joining these pieces together. On the left here we have the banister attached just at one point right here. See, it lines up. And then on here we've got the stairwell attached on the banister, and it's all lined up. Now when you're attaching your stairwell, make sure you know the difference between front and back. You can see on there all the dividers are placed in such a way where they're kind of close to the back and the front. But you could easily mess this up. I have in the past, and I've had to redo things, and it's a royal pain in the ass. And then the reason you're doing this right is because you know you've got the alignment right on one and the alignment right on the other, so you then need to just align them and press them together and hold them in place so that everything then glues together on the next glue, and that gives you your initial piece, and everything else will come off of this. And this is, I think, for me anyway, the easiest way to start the assembly process. So I'll just get that together and I'll show you the next step. So on the left here then we have the stairwell assembled and in place, and what needs to be fitted in is the support. At the moment it's very delicate, and as is the case with this, the more stuff you add, the stronger it becomes. So this support is here, which is this support here. This also creates line of sight blocking terrain, and then with these little details added in, I think it just starts to look a bit more industrial bridge-like, like a solid bridge support. This is also the stand effectively from which the whole rest of the base will be hinged, and it may be, I haven't quite worked this out yet because I need to finish building it and find out how quickly and easily it is to tip over. But I also have some lead weights, and I may well attach a bit of a chunk of lead in just in under here, primarily just to add weight to this end of the model, so that if stuff is stood out, this little precarious place over here, considering how far out the bridge will actually come much sort of out to about here. I still need to build the additional bits which will go around the ends, but you'll see that in a mo. So I'm just going to get the other divider added in, and then I will also add in the walkways just so you can see what the basic bridge looks like. It's a pretty simple construction method. The measuring of these pieces, these have been the biggest problem, and in terms of making a model and cutting things out cleanly, just measuring them and getting them right. Hence, once again, always do your drawings first. Here then is the almost finished bridge section. You can see that this extends out past the wall. There, that's fine. There is a reason for that, which you'll see in a minute. First of all, I just want to show you a couple of things. One is this, that with it set the way it is, I don't know if there's a heavier tag than this. If there is a heavier tag than this, then it might cause it to fall over, but slightly precarious. But I can put my Euro tag right on the end, and it doesn't just topple over. It doesn't collapse under the weight, which means the cantilever brace sticking out underneath here is actually good enough a system, which means I build it like a proper bridge. Cantilevering is where you have this extended coming out, and this brace underneath transfers this weight down through and into the foot, which the foot prevents it from toppling over, but you need a certain length in this direction in order for that to work. So I'm pretty glad this has worked out. I thought I might have to put like I say, I was thinking I might have to put, I do have some fishing weights, and I would have cut a couple of lumps of lead off of them and just glued them in right at the back here. And I still might, I mean, you can see there is a little bit of attempt to topple, but this end should always be braced in some way. And there's one other thing I just wanted to show you, which is how these bridges connect. So here we have the two bridges, and I want them to slot together here, and more importantly I want them to be rigid and firm. So again, using cantilevering principle, I've made this, which if you look has in cross section an upside down T with a broad bit on top. Now this is because this will get braced against, this will get braced against, so that when it's wedged on, the important thing is the one on top is the long one, because it cantilevers this way, because the pressure pushes down. So if you push down on both in the middle, it will cause the cantilever effect to happen a lot, and this makes it strong and firm. Also, fortunately with powderite in particular, it's a very strong material, but that makes this completely, like there's no wobble in that at all, and this means you can stick them together very easily, just using this as a brace in the middle, and this will make you very, very secure. The only thing is, if you knock the bridge and the bridge separates and you may just go everywhere, well, be careful is the answer to that. Don't just go bashing your terrain about if you're concerned about your minis anyway. The final touch then will just be adding in the final barriers. Now I'm putting these in. They're quite tall, and it's because I want that bit of invisibility. Also, they slightly overlap the end here, but it's by about 1/2 mil. That's not a lot. And these come from the central tower. So this was originally this window from the central tower. And I'll cut it in half, and then that will form the final rail pieces for the bridge. So I'll just get the bridge completely assembled, and I'll show it in situ with this as well, because it's designed to also work with the central tower. So I'll get back to you in a moment with it all, well, constructed but not painted. Here then are the bridge walkway sections complete and placed sort of how they were intended to be used. I seem to have made them fractionally too low, and it might be that my cutting mat isn't quite even, but I think I have actually made them a bit too low. And it's probably that when I was assembling them, the angles were slightly wrong, because the measurements were correct, although I may have knocked 3 mil off. So there you go, that is them as they were meant as access ways up onto the first floor of the central tower, giving you both cover and access, and finally in its bridge configuration. So there we have it. Hope this has been of some use and interest to you, and apologies for any building noises you may or may not hear in the background. It's the season for building renovation work, so there are builders all about where I am at the moment, so apologies if any of that has translated into this video. Thank you very much for watching, have a good one and take care. Bye bye.